Guess what? I'm not going to talk about 4 ways through which you'll know if your partner loves you. Rather, I'm here to talk about your insecurity that makes you repeatedly question if your partner loves you. Is that what you are looking for? If yes, then this is the video for you. Through this video, you'll know 4 reasons that might be contributing to these doubts that you may have that result in so much misery, sadness, frustration, and all the emotions that come with it. Just answer these 3 questions for me. Do you often feel jealous when your partner talks to other people? Do you feel that they don't love you, especially whenever you have a conflict? And very important, do you feel this relationship is the only thing that is keeping you afloat, and without it you don't know what you'll do in your life? If you answered yes to all of these or any of these questions, there are high chances that the doubt that you have about your relationship is not about the other person, but about you. And yes, healing starts with awareness. This does not mean that this relationship is not the one for you. It just means that you need to be more aware of your patterns just so you can understand your triggers and not repeat them in any of your relationships, not just your romantic relationships, but in any relationship that's important to you, be it with your friends or your family or anyone. Hi, I'm Kashika Gulati and I am a counseling psychologist, and in this video I'll be talking about 4 reasons that might be contributing to you having the doubts in your relationships or feeling maybe unworthy of love. So the first major reason that contributes to it is the fear of intimacy. It might be coming from maybe your previous experiences, previous friendships, relationships, romantic relationships, or maybe your childhood experiences, that whenever someone comes close to you, either you feel that it's bound to end up in doom, or that they'll hurt you, or something that whenever you are happy, something will happen that will spoil your happiness. So just the fear of being intimate with another person to the extent where you feel that this is not for you, where you either feel that you will get too hurt or that this is not for you. Just the doubts come in, and maybe they come in the form of you doubting your love for your partner, but they go deep within, where getting intimate with anyone, be it with your romantic partners, because that's where it mostly shows, but even with your friends, you may have a boundary that after this point I don't want to be close to them. Having boundaries is not bad, but just stopping yourself from being very close, from loving someone to the extent where you can be vulnerable with them, might be a sign that you have a fear of intimacy. So may understand where this fear is coming from, if at all it exists, and go over the experience. Is it bound to happen again? Have you processed it yet? Just try and ask yourself these questions, and trust me, once you are more aware of it, you'll be more mindful of it. You'll be able to tell yourself that just because it happened once, it doesn't mean that it will happen again. And if at all you feel like you need professional help for it, you can do that. But being aware that this problem is not about the other person, but maybe about myself, will be a good step into addressing it. The second reason that might be contributing to these doubts is your previous relationships or your history. If you've ever been in a romantic relationship where you felt cheated, or where the other person broke your trust, or where you felt maybe taken granted for, or any of the experiences that impacted you a lot, that you feel very very scared of repeating in the future, and it comes with its own sets of assumptions. Whenever your say partner has a fight with you, you may have a doubt that this is the time that they'll leave me, because that might have happened with you in the past, in any of your past relationships. So we tend to repeat our patterns, and when we do not heal our wounds, we bleed on others who have nothing to do with our wounds. So it's very important to understand where those wounds started from, so that you can start covering them, so that you can start addressing them. So is it something that you are replicating from your previous relationship? If it is so, you have to consciously remind yourself that just because it happened once, it's not bound to repeat itself. So being aware of your patterns, being aware of where it's coming from will help you address it, will help you understand again that it's not about the other person, it is about me. So feel more in control that this is about me. I might be feeling so because this happened with me in the past. But communication, letting the other person know about your doubts and reflecting yourself will help you not repeat it in your present relationship or in your future relationship if that's what you are looking for. The third reason that might be contributing to this doubt could be projection. A lot of times when we do not love ourselves enough, we look for that love outside of us. Maybe in any other relationship, maybe with our friends or with our partner. And it specifically happens the most with our partners because they are the ones who we spend the most time with. And that's when our triggers, everything tends to come more on surface. Like once you are in a romantic relationship, you'll know your triggers more than ever. If you of course make the effort to. So if you do not love yourself enough, you might look for that love from them. And because there's this void within, any amount of love that you may get from them may not feel enough. So if there is this void, if you do not feel confidence about yourself, if you feel that your self-esteem is not as good, maybe you'll end up projecting that in your relationship, maybe in the form of insecurities or doubts or just trust issues, something or the other. But it's a projection of your own thing. It's not necessarily about the other person. They may be loving you the most, but you may not feel loved. It could be happening because of a lot of factors, but projection is one thing that really contributes to it. And the fourth reason is insecurity and abandonment in childhood. So the idea is to not go in the past and live in it and victimize yourself. That's because it happened with me in the past, it's bound to happen with me in the future. It only helps you understand where it's coming from and gives you the power to address it. Whenever you go back to understanding where any of your insecurities is coming from, it can give you power that now I know that this is the place it's coming from and I can address it, rather than making you victimize yourself that, oh my god, this happened with me and I'm bound to be in insecure relationships all my life, which is what sadly I think social media influence is doing on us. If you felt abandoned by your parents in childhood, then you might be modeling this in your relationships. Yes, that does happen. If you felt abandoned by your parents, by your primary caregivers, or you felt insecure in the say childhood with your parents, then that may tend to, like, there are good chances that you may model it in your romantic relationships as well. If you saw your mother being very skeptical of things, you might also show that pattern. So it's very important to be aware of those things. Recently I realized that there are a lot of things that I don't like about my parents, but I am actually modeling them in my relationships. And as soon as I was aware of that, it was a bulb on moment for me that, oh my god, these are the things I hate so much, but I am replicating them in my relationships. And that does happen when we are immersed in that environment, because we learn a lot from our environment. So try to understand, is it abandonment from your childhood? Is it insecurity in your intimate relationships that contributes to it? Is it the dynamics between your parents that you might be playing out in your current romantic relationship? What is it that you may have taken from your primary caregivers that you are replicating, that you may not like as their child? Them doing that, it's very evident that they are doing something wrong, or maybe something that you do not like. But we end up subconsciously replicating that. But being aware of it can change things tremendously. Now, these are the four reasons that may be contributing to you feeling the way you do in your romantic relationship. The idea is to not again victimize yourself and see love as a tainted thing in your life, because love can be very beautiful, it can be very pure and natural, but it's only our culture, our experiences that taint the experience for us. And it will always happen, but the thing is, being aware of yourself. Awareness before change. It is the mantra for healing. So be aware of your patterns, and if you feel that you need professional help for that, it's amazing to seek help from counselors and psychiatrists if you want. So make sure that you understand your patterns, understand where they are coming from, process things, and be mindful of what you do in your current relationships, because it's your present reality that shapes your future, not your past. Don't mistake it for that. Comment below what it is that you'd want me to cover more in detail in the next video, where I can talk about ways through which you can address it, ways through which you can move towards the resolution stage. I look forward to your comments. Thank you for watching.